Okay, we're on job number 2 for tonight, which was number 2 last time also, the wheel. So, there's our wheel. We're putting new bearings and stuff in here. So we got the new races in there. These races squeezed down so much that I didn't have enough length on my bearing spacer. The bearings were too tight. So now we have to make the bearings the correct width. So this is our spacer here. I guess we're a little bit too close. So this is the spacer that came out of it. It goes in between the two Timken bearings like this, and that's what sets your end plate. So this was we had no clearance, so this needs to be longer. This old style hub does not have shims in it, so you have to do it this way. Shims came out in the mid-90s. This is from the late 70s, early 80s. Alright, so we're going to figure out what we're going to use. So I had to go find my missing spacer box, which took me about a week. Finally found it. Now I can make some parts. Okay, so first thing I do is measure our spacer and see what this one is. It's like 2.538. I need more than that. So this one here is a long one, so it's 2.564. So from 38 to 64 is a big increase. So there's another 64, and this one's a 550. This one over here. 553, 554. See, it's a lot thicker than this one. So these are some older. These are probably for aftermarket wheels. Different vendors made them differently. Be my guess. It can be all made to work if we had to. Okay, this one has not been opened yet. We're going to open it. So this stuff's hard to come by. Nobody stocks parts anymore, so it's not that they don't have it in stock for stock, and they don't have stock, period. They don't have any inventory. They don't sell them anymore because nobody works anymore, I guess, on parts. So anyway, this is the same thin wall one that came out of it. Let's measure and see what this one actually measures. And it measures 36, which is not going to help us any. This one's 38. So this is supposed to be longer. See, it ain't. It's supposed to be 2.550. It is not 550. So either those calipers are bogus or the parts in the bag are bogus. I will go with the parts in the bag being bogus. I've had these things for probably close to 20 years, I bet. Okay, this one is correct. It said 60 and it's 63. So the other one's a bogus number, this one's correct. Packaging error. And that was on a sealed package too. Here's my parts. So this is not a mid, it's a short. 2.3. 534, I think is what it was. So we'll change it. That'll have to be changed in the computer too. I no longer have a mid, I have a short and a long. Unless we open up the third package, it might be the right one. Let's see. Let's measure it through the bag this time. Appears to be long. It's 2,660. So for the plastic, that's about right. Okay, so now we're going to take this one, I'm going to put it in the wheel, and I'm going to see how much clearance we got, and we'll start flipping this down until we get what we want. The problem with Timken bearings is they're at an angle. So when you take up a couple thou here, it'll take up more than 2 thou here in clearance, because when it gets really close, it takes up real quick. It comes up fast. So it seems like it's almost 2 to 1. You take up 1 here and you gain 2, or you take out 2. So you got to be careful. You can go too short real quick. That's from experience. Now to check it, you actually have to have an axle, because unless the bearings are concentric, they're not concentric in this case. You have to be parallel, straight with each other. Concentric is round. So if you're on an axle where it's nice and tight, the bearings are straight. If these were to be slightly off center, like going this way, it'll change your in play even though the spacer is the same. So when you put it on the axle, it would change a bunch. So you always got to make sure you use a good axle when you check them. So when you put it in for real, you have the same number. It repeats. So you can't just stick it in there and hold it and go jiggle jiggle. I did that for a while. It didn't work. Now if you screw up a couple of them, you figure it out real quick. That don't work that way. Okay, so now you just take your spacer, stuff it in there. Take our shim. Washing your nut. You just go like that, you can tell it's loose. You can hear it. You can hear the in play, see? But you want to know for real, you go ahead and tighten it up. Now you can see the in play. So you go like that, you can see it. You can also measure it. So you take your 6-inch scale, stick it in there, and you go back and forth and you measure it. You gotta make sure you pull straight, not wiggle it. Yeah. Looks like about 20 thou at least, maybe 25. And we only picked up, we went from 38 to 50, or to 64 I guess. We picked up a good 20. I wouldn't be surprised if the difference is going to be like 2 thou between this space and the old one, but we'll see. We know we're way off, so we'll take off a pretty good cut initially. We'll blow 10 out of it. Like I said, it comes up quick, so you don't want to get too carried away. So we're going to put this in a lathe, we're going to turn it. Now if you do this by hand and file it, unless they're equally spaced all the way around, you're not very accurate. So you can use a mic or a pair of calipers and measure it as you go. If you never cut on one side and only cut on one side, then you keep sanding or filing or whatever you got to do to get it down equally by measuring in multiple places. Then you'll be accurate. But if you cut the thing in a damn taper, you'll be way the hell off. So if you cut an angle like this, when you tighten it up, it'll squeeze that corner and change the number on you, be too tight. So like I said, always check the same dimension and you'll see. So you can measure over here. Every time you check it, you want to do that. Calipers, you want to measure across both sides to be more accurate. On a micrometer, you measure on one side. So anyway, this one here is about 60, it varies a little bit, between 63. That's 62 and a half. Over here, it's 63. So it's a little bit variable. Alright, so we're going to go trim this in the lathe, get it figured out. Be back.